Have you talked to Coach O yet? It's very convincing, isn't he? Yeah, he's, you know, I had one conversation with Coach O on the phone, and I was sold just about immediately. I just wanted to come down and confirm it. He's a great coach and a great leader, and you know, I was sold on the football part, but I was more sold on his vision of the program, his vision of me as a football player, and where we could go. Their coach does a really good job mixing up the looks. They'll bring the same blitz and play a different coverage behind it, so I'm going to have to be on my game, reading the safeties, reading the coverages, seeing blitzes, knowing what coverage they usually like to play behind it, but then verifying it post-snap to make sure that it is what I thought it was. And you know, that's going to be a key for us. We're 14-0. That's exactly where we expected to be. You know, I just try to do anything I can to win games, whether it's throw for 500 yards or throw for 150 yards. It doesn't matter to me as long as we win. Oh yeah, all the time. You know, when he gets fired up, I gotta, you know, if he's trying to tell me something, I gotta calm him down for a second so I can understand him, because he gets fired up sometimes and it's tough to understand. No, you don't really think about it like that. You think you're going up, you know, I feel like I'm going up against the defensive coordinator and the defense. You don't really think about the quarterback that's on the other side of the ball. You understand that, you know, when you're going against good offenses, you're going to have to score a little more, but, you know, I think about it more as going against the defense. And I think their coaching is some of the best in the country. They do a lot of different things. You can tell they have really smart football players, because not a lot of teams could show all the looks that they show. So I'm going to have to really read my keys and trust my eyes and be disciplined with my eyes to understand what they're trying to do, because they'll bring blitzes and play 4 or 5 different coverages on the back end. So that's, you know, Coach Venables does a great job, and you know, I think it's going to be a fun chess match on Monday. After the first week, so I treated the first week like a game week, and then this week was kind of just icing on the cake. But I kind of, towards the end of this week, I got a little tired of watching film, because I watched it all, and then you can only watch so much before you're just ready to play the game, and then so it did help, but you got to be careful overloading information too in these 2 weeks, because you know, I'm a super focused guy that likes to look at every single look, but I try to go into the game understanding the things they like to do most and just buzz the things that they've done 1 or 2 or 3 times throughout the year. So I've had to kind of stop myself sometimes and not watch everything the same amount that I do the stuff they do the most. So it's going to help us for sure, but they're going to have something new for us, and we're going to understand that. Yeah, I think that's how it's supposed to be in the national championship game, the 2 best. And you know, that's what we've wanted all year, is to play the best. We've played a lot of really good teams. Clemson is obviously the best. They've made it this far. I think we're going to be ready for them. I think, you know, they're a really good team, have a lot of speed, have a good plan. But, you know, I think it's going to be a big challenge for us, so I think we'll be ready. No, you call some people around the country that, you know, have spent time with him and have played them in the past to kind of see what they tried to do in those games, but you know, it's the national championship, and he has 2 weeks to prepare. So we know there's something new. Something new is going to be there, whether it's a blitz, a coverage, a front. You know, something new is going to be there. We just got to figure it out. Yeah, I think the biggest factor was we just had so many people coming back. And you know, I got here last June, and most grad transfers come in January, and they're able to get spring ball and a fall camp. And I came in with a true freshman and didn't have a lot of time. Wasn't named starter until 2 weeks before the game, so wasn't able to work with the guys like I really wanted to. And then we had a full off season together, and we really started clicking. I understood where they were going to be when they were going to be there. They understood when the ball was going to be there as well. Yeah, I mean, it did play a big part. But at the same time, I think with the guys that we have and the connection we have, we would have made it work with any scheme. And you know, I think it's been a big part of what we're doing, but at the same time, like I said, we would have made it work. I think what Thad does is rare. You know, he's super smart and understands the timing and spacing of zone coverage and understanding where he is in progressions. That's something that you don't see a lot in college football players. And we have 5 guys that really understand what we're trying to do and understand coverages and zones and progressions. And so they can tempo their routes to get where they need to be on time, whether they're slow off the line because they're the 4th progression or they're fast off the line because they're the 1st progression. They understand that. And I think Thad not only understands that and routes and coverages, but understands what they're trying to do in run blocking schemes and will put his face in another man's face and move him where he doesn't want to go. And that's what makes Thad really special. They do everything. There's not a lot of teams that can get smart enough guys to play every coverage in the book, have every blitz in the playbook, and they do it. And you can tell how well coached they are, because while they do all these things, they're not unsound in what they do. So, it's going to be a challenge for us to see what they're doing and try to exploit it. Yeah, he does a lot. No, I think what he does best is when they just let him roam the field in the middle and read my eyes and just poach all the different throws through the middle of the field. I think he's really, really good at that. He's really fast, super explosive, good tackler, but he's super tough to defend when he's roaming that middle of the field.
So your counter move in this chess move with Isaiah Simmons watching your eyes as well?
Well, I'm going to have to look him off. I'm going to have to find him every play because, depending on where they put him, they do a lot of different things. So you got to know where he is all the time to know what defense they're trying to do and where they're trying to move him to do different things. I think, I always just try to play whatever the game calls for. And, you kind of figure that out in the first quarter. If they're scoring a lot, yeah, I'm going to have to go out, throw the ball, throw for a lot of yards, get us down there. But, maybe our run game is going. Maybe our defense is stopping them, and it's going to be a grinded out kind of game. So you just got to feel it out and try to do whatever the game calls for to win. So he was with the Saints, and one of my best friends, JT Barrett, was with the Saints at the time, and Coach Joe was kind of JT's guy because he was the assistant quarterback coach, I think was his title, and so JT was practice squad, and they were kind of going through the script together every day. And JT called me when he got the job. He said, "You guys are going to be best friends," and from that moment on, I knew we're gonna have a good connection and understand what each other was thinking on every play. That's as a quarterback, whether you like it or not, you're gonna be a leader of the team, and if your team isn't tough, you're not gonna win a lot of games. And so as a quarterback, you got to exude that toughness, not only throughout the game, but throughout practice, throughout the off-season weight training, throughout sprints. You got to win every sprint. Otherwise, you're just not going to win a lot of games if your quarterback's not the toughest player on the team. I think everyone wants to point to one moment as a turning point. I don't think there was. We felt all offseason that we had worked hard to be a championship football team, and I knew that we could be, as long as we just practiced with intensity and focused on getting better every day. So I don't think there was one turning point. I think there's been a lot of cumulative actions that have gone into this, going from last year to January to February, and it all gets kind of piled up. That's just preparation. That's understanding, what you're trying to do on offense and understanding what they're trying to do on defense. Film study, knowing what they like to do behind certain blitzes, knowing what they like to do on 3rd and 3 to 6, 3rd and 7 to 10, 3rd and 1 to 3, all those different situations. Because every defensive coordinator has different tendencies on different down and distances. So you got to understand what they're going to do on those situations. And if you go into the game preparing like that, you can narrow down all these different things that they do to 1, 2, or 3 things, and then you can get your eyes on those keys to understand what they're doing. And just that preparation and knowing and understanding the offense allows me to make those decisions. Yeah, I throw a lot of, for lack of a better word, 50-50 balls up and just let them go make a play. Try to put it in a position that only they can go and get it. And I have 5 guys that make those plays for me. And that's a huge luxury for a quarterback, knowing if nothing else is open, I can just throw it up to those guys and they're going to go make a play for me. Yeah, we have 5 guys that are going to play in the NFL in routes every single play, and so they got to account for everybody. You can't take Jamar and Justin away. We have Clyde, Thad, and Terrace. So you really got to pick your poison and try to mix up the looks on us, because otherwise we're going to pick you apart.
Plug in a guy here and there, especially on a stage that was that big for Chris.
I was so happy for Chris because for most of the season he's been 4th on the depth chart, and he's just gone to work every single day. He's been the scout team running back, ran his ass off all year for us. And I was so happy for him because he's worked so hard for that. Didn't complain a single second. Just went to scout team, ran hard, came to the sideline, didn't say a word. And then, when Clyde went down a couple weeks ago, he really started to click in practice. And, I think he deserved that start and went out and showed it. I was so happy for Chris. Yeah, I think there's a similarity as far as, it hasn't been done for a while. The last time here was going to the national championship with 2011. Last win was 2007, and back in Athens, it had never been done before. So, that's kind of a similarity. But, I kind of said before the season, when you're around championship football teams, something just kind of feels different. And, going back to high school, that's the last time I kind of felt that. And we felt it this offseason.
Any questions here? Who's got the better hair between you and Trevor?
Before I cut my hair, I would have to go with me. But his is flowing right now. I like his. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun chess match for me because I know they're gonna have something different, some looks that I haven't seen before. Because he's just really good at what he does, and that's why he gets paid so much, and that's why they've won a lot of games, and why they're the #1 defense in the country. He's so good at what he does, showing you one way, blitzing the other. So we know they're going to have something new for us. I'm just going to have to, read my keys, trust my eyes, and understand what they're trying to do after the first quarter. I wish I was 3 inches taller and 20 pounds heavier. He's, the best thing he does is just win. 25-0, something like that as a starter. That's just something that not a lot of people can do. No matter what conference you play in, who you're playing, he hasn't lost yet, and that's the #1 thing. I think we're just kind of one and the same from 2 different places. We have the same mentality. Go run through someone's face, and they're not going to want it a long time. And he's coached that way and played that way for a long time, and that's how I've always tried to play the game. And this has kind of been a great match for us, and that's the mentality this football team tries to bring to the field every day.